guys like that intro, huh? What is going on, guys? It is your boy, TK You're back in here on Position Source. Of course, here, a new Road 2 series. A new game is upon the horizon. A new series of Road 2 we are going to do as well. This one is, of course, Road to Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And with me, of course, I thought of no other guest to have on the premiere episode. You know, the one and only Christian Buckley. How you doing, good sir?
Hello, it feels good to be back on PSS.
Oh, yeah. Of course,
Been a minute.
Christian's over there holding it down on JoyClicks. Links will be in the description for JoyClicks as well. Make sure to go check out that. Also, he's doing a lot of coverage with Final Fantasy 7 as well, if you want to plug a little bit of that throughout the coming weeks until we get to release.
Yeah, definitely. Small, bite-sized lore videos, character backgrounds, all from a spoiler-free angle, as if the game doesn't exist yet. So, if you're new, obviously checking out this show, maybe fill out some history there.
Absolutely. So Road to Final Fantasy 7 Remake, of course, this started off with episode 1. We got to cover the demo, right? This demo.
Absolutely.
Did you see the murmurs and rumors back in December of it being a real thing, or?
Yeah, I remember specifically talking to you about it too, of like saying how cool a demo would be and thinking it was coming New Year's, I think, because I think the demo leaked on New Year's Day.
Yeah, it was I think it was the 29th, was it? It was like right before or during New Year's. Yeah, it was when it leaked. It leaked alongside Patapon 2 as well.
Right. Yep.
That one already came out, I think late January. Patapon 2 remaster came out, or remake, I guess remaster more. But then there was this demo that came out. People got access to it as well. There was uploads of it on YouTube. I didn't watch it. I don't know if you did watch any of the yeah.
No, I didn't, because I want to keep it as pure as possible.
Yeah. And then you famously, I'm pretty sure it was you out of the both of us that nailed that. Hey, they're gonna drop this on March 3rd. You know, when it got delayed.
Yeah, because Final Fantasy 7 Remake was absolutely my most anticipated for the first half of the year. And once it got delayed and the demo was still up in the air, I was like, March 3rd, mark your calendars, draft the tweets, it's gonna happen.
It's true.
And here we are.
Here we are. Who would have thought? You know? But Final Fantasy 7 Remake. I mean, I imagine us going through this conversation, just running through the demo, as it plays out. And of course, I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't played the demo. I implore you, it's free. I believe Christian also gives it his recommendation. I'm gonna have to.
100%. Yeah, I played it twice. It's very good both times.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was just gonna add also, it's only like 7 gigs, so you should have the space for it.
Yeah, it's small in size and also it's small in length. I'd say it's a pretty, it's on the beefier end of demos. I feel like,
Yeah, it took me about an hour both times.
Yeah. I ran through it definitely faster the second time, but it was around the hour my first time. And I think like 50 minutes my second time. But it's around that time. It's a nice chunk of the game. Like you get a lot out of this demo. That I feel like some demos haven't given you as much as this game does. Yeah, so
for sure. Yeah, I think it's like a good way to set the scale too, because I mentioned this to you off air that the beginning mission of the game, which we play through in the demo from like the original game, takes maybe 20 minutes, but this is a full, like, we go in here, like there's a lot to cover, a lot of ground to cover, a lot of people to fight, lots of intense bosses.
Right.
They're just the one, but it is intense.
So I do. So is it that they like flesh this part out of the game even more? Like, is that why it's so, like, it's longer than the original? Is that what it's kind of like? How has, I guess, like, this section changed from like a top point of view perspective? Like, is there more added to this part of the game in relation to the original Final Fantasy 7?
So, like, the moments that we get, like the character moments, are all still in the original. Obviously the dialogue isn't as expansive. Like, you don't have Jesse's entire back and forth with Cloud. You get like just small lines that might hint to something like that.
Interesting.
And then like with Cloud and Barrett, you do get a bit of tension, but not like to the extent of the back and forth that they have.
I see.
but progressing through the Mako reactor, it is like it's still like there's this room where we have to do this thing as the group, and then we fight random people on the way. But in the remake, I think where you were coming from of like fleshing it out, instead of just like an environment that's pre-rendered, now it is more of a fully realized factory. You know, like it feels like a real place as opposed to just a room where you got to get point A to point B and then random people show up to fight.
Gotcha. I see. Interesting. Well, let's just take it from the top. Starting off, we get in the demo. I think there's more to this intro, I think.
There is. I haven't seen the full thing, but there is.
Yeah, because they released the full thing. I'm going to stay away from that. I want to watch the full intro, but it just seems like it just seemed kind of out of the blue that they start with this female. I think you know her name. I would like to assume you know her name. I don't know her name. I thought Aerith. Okay, I thought this was Tifa the first time I was playing. I thought this was Tifa, but apparently
it makes sense. They don't name her in the demo.
It's true. They really don't. But she has a flower. We got some mean men pushing her around. Not pushing her around, but walking into her. One of them crushes that flower. Hate to see it. And then we get this beautiful sword that you hopefully have seen in the intro to this road to Final Fantasy VII Remake Episode 1. This one was good. This one got me. This is this opening intro where it scopes out and you can see the entire city. I do have a question about the nature of this city. Is it so there's like in the cracks, at least when I was playing it, it looks like it's elevated. Is that something that you're allowed to discuss without spoiling anything crazy, or should I just stop talking? Or
it's just like a city that has a wall built around it, pretty much. And there is a greater world outside of the walls of this city, but the city is pretty much operated by the corporation Shinra that we see our heroes go after in the demo. But yeah, it is like it's its own sort of colossal like factory / city that's like very industrial.
Okay.
And you wouldn't really realize that the rest of the world is a normal looking globe compared to what the city looks like.
Interesting.
But Kevin, I don't think you understand. From like second one of booting this thing up, I don't know if you've seen it, but I recommend it.
Okay.
If you watch the original cutscene that opens the OG 97 Final Fantasy VII, it starts off with the background of like space you think it is, and there's like stars everywhere, and then it's just slowly the camera's rotating around. It focuses on Aerith. She's just like kneeling down in this alleyway. You realize that it's not stars, but it's Mako. And then she just gets up, walks out of the alley, and then it scopes back to show you Midgar and the tower, and then the logo comes up.
Nice.
So it's just a full recreation of that, but now it's like, especially looking at it side by side, just seeing how fully realized the city is, like what I was talking about with your question before. It's just insanely impressive and makes me believe everything they've said about turning this like 10-hour sequence of the game into a full RPG.
All right. Oh,
Chills.
man. Oof. Okay. I feel like now, because you did inform me that there is a kind of funny Let's Play that they're playing the first Final Fantasy VII as well as the remake demo back to back. So I need to watch that. Definitely need to get a full grasp of that intro. But then we go in there. It cuts between the train, and then we get introduced to our characters in this demo, which we got Biggs, Wedge, Jesse, and Barrett. Love them boys. Now, we did talk about this before we started recording, but I recognize Wedge's voice actor, and you told me, hey, hold up, let me tell you when we start recording. Do you want to spill the beans now, or because I definitely go ahead.
Kevin, I believe you watched Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's him.
It's Badger.
Oh, snap. Oh, that's hot. That's
Yeah,
hot.
like
That's who it
the first
is.
time he did like a laugh or a sigh or something, like an expression like that in the demo, I was like, that sounds like the Breaking Bad guy. And then he starts
Oh,
talking more. I'm like, wait, that's Badger.
oh my God, I love it. I
Good
love
on him
it,
for getting in here.
dude. Shout out to Badger. Shout out Breaking Bad, of course. Wow, wow. So then instantly, we then of course, Barrett goes get down here, Merc, or whatever he says, and then we get this cool intro to Cloud. God,
Yeah.
Cloud, man. Cloud Strife, the homie with the Buster Sword, looking flyer than ever.
It's a great way to introduce that character, I think. And like as time has gone on, since you don't really have much of a characterization outside of just his dialogue in the original, Cloud has kind of turned into like a hot topic-y kind of guy.
That's what I did want to ask. Yeah, so that's not how it was in the was he not written that way in the original Final Fantasy 7 or
I mean, like the text boxes can only like fit so much, and convey so
Right.
much. But
Yeah.
like, originally he was meant to be this kind of like doofy kind of guy that thinks he's cooler than he is, but still comes across that way to the people he works with. And I think that comes across in the demo more than any of the other interpretations of Cloud I've seen has.
Gotcha. I see. What is really nice that I feel that we got in this demo is that like they don't explicitly say it, but they really do convey through dialogue how the other characters feel about Cloud, right? Because it seems like he was hired for this job, but I don't know, because like it seems like he was hired for the job, but they all speak of Tifa as if like they know of this. Like there seems to be some more, like this isn't their first time meeting, I guess, or is it? Like that's like, or maybe is it just Tifa that bridges both of these groups, like Cloud and then the rest of the cast? Yeah. Is that what it is?
Tifa is like the mutual friend.
Ah, okay, I see.
So like Cloud and Tifa have a history of when they were younger, and then Tifa is a member of Avalanche, which is the group that we work with in the demo, which is Barrett, Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge.
I see. Okay. So Tifa would kind of fill in that fifth role, but right now it's Cloud for whatever reason.
Yeah, like she knew, like, because we're committing an act of terrorism in this demo.
Like, I mean, it is true.
It's
true.
eco terrorism, but it's still terrorism. So like, you get a sense of like Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Like, they're not professionals. They even say that they're kind of like kids that believe in the cause.
Yeah.
To a certain extent, and like Barrett's the guy that's like, I've seen some stuff. I'm cool with this. This is worth dying for, So like Tifa recognizing that and saying like, hey, this is a big mission. This is probably like our first actual mission as a group fighting for the environment. You guys need backup. I know a guy. And that's how we get the Cloud connection.
I see. But overall, like it seems like Biggs and Wedge seem to admire Cloud as being like a next shoulder. At least from the little dialogue that we got in this demo, it seems like they admire him in a way and kind of like look up to him, having that like he's seen some stuff. So it looks like they admire him and his experience in that way. But we don't get that with Barrett. Barrett definitely, is not cool with Cloud, if you will.
There's some tension. There's some great back and forth between them in this. I really like how they characterize their relationship here.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, maybe it goes deeper than this, but I think the at least core that the demo wants you to get out of it is that, like, Cloud being a mercenary, he, like, especially throughout the whole demo, is more like, yo, I don't care about any of this. Like, I'm just doing it for money, whatever. As opposed to Barrett, where he goes on that huge monologue in the elevator that we'll get to, about, and then Cloud has some great lines. Cloud has many great lines in this demo. Cloud is really funny.
There's moments where he says some lines where it's like, that shouldn't work, but it totally does. Like,
100%.
I think if it was any other game and we had a moment like that, it would come across cheesy, but it just works here for some reason.
Like, that's my line.
Yeah. That's so badass. But like, if you had any other character say that, it would be like, all right, guy.
Yeah, you know
You
what?
know?
Now we're talking about it. Like when Barrett is going off his monologue about how he's explaining essentially that they're blowing up the Mako Reactor 1. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, or like they're saying like this is like the first Mako reactor.
Yeah.
But they're made up of pumps that suck up Mako that's in the planet, and it produces energy for the people that live in. Is the city called Midgar?
Midgar, yeah.
Okay, cool. So it pumps up that Mako. It makes it energy for the people of Midgar, but in the process, it's killing the planet. And then Barrett says a line like, "I can hear the I can hear the planet cry. Like, can you?" And then Cloud's like, "You really hear that? Get help!"
Yeah. I love that line. That's so good.
It's funny. There's a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. But I don't know if the other playable characters like fulfill like a specific like role, but Biggs seemed to be the hacker, but then not like hacker, but like hacker type, like him getting the door open, but then Jesse did the same thing after that. So
yeah,
I assume there's nothing there. I don't know.
Not really. Like, without going into too much, the characters we're introduced to in this demo aren't like primary for the most part.
Okay. So
like,
yeah, gotcha.
You know how there's that moment where you basically recruit Barrett and he becomes a playable character. He's in the party.
Yeah.
You notice that Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse don't do that because
gotcha. Okay.
They're more sort of like the supporting cast for everything that goes down in this game, where someone like Barrett is going to have a stronger tie with Cloud as the game and future games progress.
Right. Okay, so that's a tiny bit of a letdown, because I saw like Biggs was holding like this almost like a hand cannon from Destiny type of weapon,
Yeah.
And I figured like he'd be like a cool like one shot character to fill that whole role, where like Cloud's seems to be like the hack and slash, Barrett is more of like the shooter tank type of archetype if we're talking like classes in like a RPG or whatever. So I was hoping Biggs would come in and be that, but
Yeah.
I guess not.
It's on the bright side, though, this being a remake, there's obviously opportunity for the developers to flesh out these characters even more, and I have more of a characterization for all of them in this demo than I do in the original game already.
Man.
And I follow the voice actor for Jesse on Twitter, Erica Lindbeck.
Nice.
She also was in Persona 5, and I think she might have been in Fire Emblem as well. But she was tweeting about Jesse once people got their hands on the demo, because like I think she said this really good tweet about like, guys, I know she's thirsty. Like, I know I'm her. I play her. I know this. Stop adding me. But she was basically saying that like she was really happy that people are getting behind Jesse, and she's excited for them to see her arc.
Right.
And that's really interesting to me, because I wouldn't say that in the original game Jesse has an arc. So it's cool seeing them become more fully realized members of this group.
Right. So they're like becoming less of like solely supporting characters to help you get from A to B, but they're becoming characters in themselves as opposed to just being for support. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on having them be playable, but they're gonna be with you on a lot of missions.
Right. So it's during that phase where, of course, we get more open to the combat. There's only one thing that I want to take back. We've talked about it on Joyclicks Games class, as well as maybe another one I forgot. I don't even know. But the combat's amazing.
Combat's incredible.
Yeah, and going through it a second time, having a better feel for the combat from playing it the first time, I was having a lot more fun, and was utilizing a lot more, knowing how I can utilize the tools that were given to me. It was very, very fun, very, very good stuff. And also I like how there are the special abilities, like for Clouds there's the focus thrust, which is more of like a long range type of special attack, versus Braver, which is more of like an up close and personal one. But you can easily miss these if you're not careful or like misjudge the distance, or if they like, you know, evade, you can easily miss them. So I like how they're powerful, but you still gotta, you know, judge the right circumstances, and there's still a threat that you can miss it, you know.
For sure.
I like that a lot.
It's just a great balance between turn-based and action combat, because like what you just said, the whole point of the game is to utilize, or the combat system is to utilize the ATB charges to actually deal damage to the people you're fighting.
Yeah.
So while they do give you sort of that element of turn-based and an inspiration from ATB in the original release, you have to still account for the fact that they're moving around. Like, you have to account for having good aim, like you're saying, and like judging the distance between them. So I do like that, because it doesn't make it lean one way or the other. It's a compromise in almost every single way, and they pulled it off fantastically, I think.
I like it a lot. But we're, you know, going through that part in demo where we're, you know, going through different areas and stuff like that. I forgot what it's called. If they're dogs or hounds, same thing. But
Guard dogs.
Yeah, those guard dogs are pretty tough. A lot tougher than the actual humans, which I thought was interesting. You know, because I just figured, yeah, I don't know, you know, just they were a lot, but still cool nonetheless. But as we're going through that, we're entering the part where we have Biggs and Jesse hacking the doors and stuff like that. And then that's where we get the whole Jesse asking about Tifa type thing. And then Cloud's answer gets cut off, I think by the elevator opening or something like that. But Jesse asks if like if Cloud and Tifa are more of a thing. So
did you notice that?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
While he was thinking about this, the screen did an effect.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into next. Yeah, at least I called them Cloud's brain disruptions. You know, I don't know if there's another name for them or you know, whatever you want to call it. But he has one of these, and I think happens 3 times. The last time something unique comes on the screen that we'll bring up when we get there. But yeah, there is some. Yeah, it's. I don't know how much you want to tell me to not spoil me, but it is very clear. Like there's something up.
Yeah, I want to ask you, I guess, because I know what it's alluding to. Okay. But what's your read on it? Like, why do you think that's happening? What do you think that's about? Like, what's the impression you get from seeing that they make a point to show you him struggling to think and then a weird effect?
Right.
Like, what's your takeaway there?
Okay. I put some pieces together, right? I don't know if it's right, or maybe it's so right that you're gonna have to tell me that I'm wrong anyway. But
I'll say interesting no matter what.
Okay, cool. All right, deal. Sounds good. So I think the brain disruptions are somewhat related to him being an ex-soldier, as well as him not being able to tell Barrett his age, that we'll talk about later on, right? It seems like maybe with the combination of those things, that was he potentially brainwashed in the past? Like, is his memory wiped? Like, is like it seemed like he was gonna tell, you know, Jesse about Tifa. So it seems like he retained that, or maybe he was about to lie to her. But I feel like there's some common thread amongst those in terms of some sort of like brain tampering that this soldier Cloud potentially has or had. You know,
interesting.
That was that's the pieces that I kind of put together, but I digress.
So,
I don't know.
I'll say this too: if that is the direction of north, and then like there's a bunch of other interpretations that are east, south, and west.
Okay.
You're looking in the right cardinal direction.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm in the right general area. All right.
Yeah, okay. Like Square Enix is like going like, whew, okay. You know?
Like,
because personally, I think like they do a similar thing in the original where there's an effect at certain times, but it's more like deliberate in the way they present it, but it's more ambiguous in what they're trying to get across, I think.
Okay. I see.
So again, interesting.
All right, we're gonna leave it just right at that. Then we get introduced to, well, of course, while we're in the elevator, this is where we talked about this earlier. Barrett and Cloud have that conversation about, and it's very clear, like, all right, this is where the core of their like early struggles start, with how Barrett is doing this for a different reason than Cloud. Like Cloud doesn't necessarily care about this planet, which I guess leads me to believe that he's not from Midgar, or maybe he just doesn't care about Midgar, even though he's from there, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also just to sort of flesh that out a little bit too. They never explicitly say it in the demo, but the reason that they called on Cloud, the fact that he is ex-soldier. Soldier is a defense group that works for Shinra.
So it's a proper noun. I thought it was just a noun.
Yeah, that's why it's all caps.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So like probably like 2 scenes after the demo ends, they flesh it out a little bit, but you can kind of pick up on it on the fact that like Barrett's like biting the hand that feeds, of like Cloud being scared to do something against Shinra, or thinking that he double crossed him at a certain point.
Yeah.
And asking him of like the layout of the place, and Cloud's like, depends on when it's built. I don't know. So there's lines like that alludes to the fact that he has a history with the corporation they're attacking. But yeah, that also adds a little bit of the tension to their back and forth too.
Wow, okay, that's okay. I didn't connect that Cloud used to work for this and be a soldier for this corporation. And because I thought it was kind of confusing. Like, okay, like why would you assume that he's automatically double crossing you? Like that seems like a weird thing to assume right there, But okay, now that makes okay, interesting. We get introduced afterwards to our bad guys. I think, I don't know, maybe they're good guys, but they seem to be bad guys. Only one of them talks though, Heidegger. This is where we get the name drop of that. This group is called Avalanche. And they're watching them in the elevator. Yeah, go ahead.
For this scene, you mentioned there's the Heidegger and the guy sitting in the chair that doesn't talk.
Yeah. Well,
so
quick question: do you know the guy that's sitting in the chair?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, proceed.
So again, like it makes sense. They could have just had like I don't know why they didn't just say who he is. He's the president of Shinra.
Gotcha.
So that's why they open up when they cut to them of like the Shinra logo. He's saying like we have surveillance. We know that they're here. We're investigating if they're the people that made an attempt on your life. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But my theory is that because of the type of story they're telling, because especially all the Midgar stuff is about like anti-capitalist, governmental, destroying the planet, and the way they interpret how the president of Shinra looks, I have a feeling that this is going to be an analog for Trump, and that's why they didn't have him talk in the demo.
Oh.
Got a big, strong feeling based on how he looks and the fact that he did not say a word.
Huh. So, do you think this individual will, like, do you think this scene is edited for the demo exclusively? Like, you think we'll get more dialogue from him in this scene? Or do you think, like, later on, like, the reason why he didn't talk here was to kind of contain that and give it later, It
might be a toss-up, because, like, I'm also taking into consideration the fact that the president of Shinra, and like Shinra owns Midgar basically. He's a businessman, killing the environment, like, and like oldish man, lightish hair, like it's.
I didn't see it then, but now I see it now. I see. I'm scrubbing through the gameplay that I recorded, and I'm looking at him. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. I think there was some dots that you just It's got a purple suit. I think is it purple? Yeah, purple suit. Yeah. Wow. Oh, he does. Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah. Huh.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't remember Heidegger. I don't remember if he's in the original, but again, fleshing out the story they're telling in the city. So,
Right.
yeah, interesting tease at what's to come with them.
I see. Moving on from this, we get to the part where what you mentioned before, we recruit good old Barrett to the fold, so we get to use him. And I don't know if I want this question answered right now per se, and you could just say interesting no matter what. But I am intrigued if he does have an arm underneath the gun. I don't know how monumental it is to, to the overall point of the game or the character itself. Maybe could provide some good backstory as a good context to Barrett, but it seems like he's seen some stuff, so perhaps, in some stuff, in some combat, he may have lost an arm,
I think it's just like a throwaway line in the original.
Oh, really?
Of like the yes or no answer.
Gotcha.
So if you want it, I can tell you.
Let's not. Let's.
Okay.
I almost did it, but nah. Let's just not. But what's more interesting here, that I guess maybe if you want to answer or not. Oh wait, no. Let me mention this. Let me mention this before I move on. I think this line that Cloud says should have asked for more money. I forgot if he asked it. If he says it here. No, it is here.
It is, yeah.
Just want to point out another funny Cloud line. But Barrett asks about his age, and I think it's interesting how Cloud just automatically assumes that he's talking about his rank. Which like, again, is what I was saying. Like, okay, maybe, I don't know. It's weird how he just didn't assume that was age that he was talking about, and like maybe he was like bred from birth to be a soldier, so he has no concept of like someone's age per se. Like no one's ever really asked him that question, because he might be so used to just people asking for his rank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just want to say interesting or it's okay.
Interesting. It's funny because I don't want to like say one way or the other on some of these things because
absolutely.
They do, like, the scene immediately following this, they do flesh out a lot of your questions. But
after the demo or
yeah,
okay.
Like sequentially based on my memory, once they get like back to a hideout, they're like, okay,
that's
time
nice.
to like
explain some stuff.
Time to talk. That's where some stuff gets revealed about just setting up who the characters are.
Oh man, okay, let's see.
But when it comes to Barrett in this entire sequence, he plays very differently than Cloud does.
Like
because
gameplay wise, or you mean like narrative?
Well, like strategically.
Oh, okay.
Because Cloud is, he has the Buster Sword. It's a longer sword, but it is still short range, and Barrett is long range projectiles. How do you feel about the way that Barrett controls compared to Cloud? Because you're still doing the same inputs, but it's such a different approach to how you're fighting the people.
Right. I like playing as Cloud more, but I do obviously. I mean, there's parts of games where like you have to, like, to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Also, I like how Barrett kind of like has a oh my god, what's it called? It's a spell that's Cure, where like if you're out of potions, you can use Barrett to heal Cloud, or I think Barrett can heal himself. I actually didn't take note if he can use Cure on himself. I don't think you can, or
you
maybe
can.
You can.
Yeah, as long as you have the MP for it, you can use the spell on whoever's in your party.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, there's that, but I liked Barrett. I liked Barrett gameplay wise. I still like Cloud more throughout my my round 2 of the demo, but I like Barrett. He's cool, and I think it's a really smart idea to like have like similar control inputs for no matter who you're playing as, even though they fulfill a different need throughout the gameplay. I like how they're easy to pick up, and you're easy to like be, oh, okay, Barrett's used for long range, for more like long range encounters, as opposed to Cloud, which you want to go in and just do that damage up close. So
Yeah, they made it translate very well,
Yeah.
surprisingly, because like if you have a gunner character and you're expecting like L2 R2, but not the case, and I think it feels natural still, and I'm
it
glad that it does for how fast you switch between them.
it does. It does. Yeah. Like it's weird having square to shoot, but it just makes sense in the context of Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know, at least to me it did. Like it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we get past some mercs. We do that laser, the like laser intermittent where you have to wait.
Yeah,
till
like
it
the
stops.
laser gate.
Yeah, that laser gates.
If I had to pick a low point, it's that.
Yeah, I was like, huh, okay, all right. This is like, okay, you know.
It's
But
there to be there, you know?
yeah, definitely. And I assume that was in the original. And I
No,
can
it's
imagine
not.
it's not.
No.
Wow. Okay. Because
So
I'm like,
that
oh,
may-
okay. Like I can see this being like a little challenge, like during, when it first came out, limited scope of what they could do in games. I'm like, okay, yeah, wait till the red laser stops and you walk through. That's not in the original. Wow, I really thought it was.
No.
Huh. Well, I guess I can call that a low point then, and not feel any shame.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's not like it's bad. It's just there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I really thought that was in the original. Damn. Out of the entire demo, that part seemed like the most from the original.
I totally get that, because like I think the main thing is probably wanting to, because this is essentially a dungeon. This is what, if like we're making comparisons to just RPGs in general,
Yeah.
the Mako reactor bombing mission is a dungeon.
Right.
So like most games with dungeons in them usually have puzzles instead of just enemies, and in the original it was just enemies. So now having an element that's not just fighting to make it feel like a more fully realized thing. I get it, but like it's fine.
Yeah. I feel you. And then we get into the main reactor part, and is Mako the fluid in there? Because it looked like a fluid or some sort of water. Because I don't know if it's both, but I thought the little dust particle type looking things that like glow like that bright blue type of green almost hue. I thought that was Mako, or are they both just Mako and one's water?
So my understanding is that it has multiple states.
Okay.
Basically like water. Like there's the pure form of it, which bleeds from the earth, which is potentially what was churning around in the reactor room.
Gotcha.
That could have just been water that was cooling everything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Mako floating out of the pipe in front of Aerith at the beginning is, yes, that looks like that. You've noticed, I'm sure, that when enemies die, they go back to the life stream, like they fade away into green particles.
Oh my god. I thought that was just like a game effect. Oh my god.
I mean, they contextualize it by saying that like their energy returns to the earth.
I love this dude.
Yeah, it's a
Dude, I'm a big
cool.
fan.
It's a good world.
I'm a big fan of this. Oh, I didn't even realize that. I thought that was just like an effect that, hey, you picked up a potion or you picked up, etc.
Yeah.
A phoenix
it's
down. Yeah. Oh man.
It's funny because like when I killed that first guy off the train and then he faded away, I was like, really? We're fading away in 2020? And then I was like, oh, he turned into Mako. That's cool.
Dude, I didn't even realize that. Wow. Would you look at that? I'm either really dumb or really dumb. But moving on, of course. This is where we get the line where Barrett, knows Tifa and has spoken highly about Cloud, and she says that Tifa told Barrett that Cloud is one of them, which I'm assuming is like, I found that to be interesting. Like do you think she meant that more, or maybe directly, but like did she mean that more of like a philosophical way, that like they both understand that this corporate is doing some messed up stuff, is that what she kind of meant, or is there something deeper to that?
I mean, from the way Barrett said it, I read it as like Tifa said that he's cool, like,
right,
you can trust him,
Gotcha.
it may have been as a way to like sell Barrett on the idea of like accepting help from someone who worked for Shinra.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when he says one of them, he is talking about like a member of Avalanche. He's like thinking that he's on the same side, freedom fighters, pro environment, and that's why Cloud's like, I never said I was, because he's in for the money, like we've seen throughout the demo. But
and then this is where we get the third brain disruption in the demo, and we see a feather
planting the bomb.
Yeah. But what's up with the feather, man? I mean, you know what? Okay, maybe that's a straight up spoiler, perhaps. But this is like the first brain disruption that is like different from the others. You know, I forgot where the second one is, but the second one does have, I think, or maybe there's two.
The second one I don't think is in a cutscene.
Okay, gotcha.
If there is a second one, I do remember there being one more than the two we've talked about in depth. So
yeah, I just forgot where. I don't know if I put it in my notes, but I forgot where it is. But
yeah, so this one's tricky for me to talk about. Because...
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just gonna, there's a feather there that falls, and
yeah. So I have a question for you.
Okay, absolutely.
Do you know who like the bad guy is in the game?
I was gonna ask you if it was that guy at the very, very, very end when they're playing the
teaser.
Yeah, the like teaser thing. Is it him with the flames and the long hair? Is that who we're dealing with? Okay, it's him. All right. I don't know him.
Okay.
I don't know a name. I don't. Yeah. So he just looked like another bad guy. Bad guy number 3, if I will.
Yeah. So yes, he is in fact someone in this game.
I can feel you just holding back and trying.
Well, it's interesting because like in the original, again, they don't really convey what's happening really well. Like Cloud plants the bomb, the screen turns red, and then there's text that appears, and there's no name attributed to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I forget what it says, but it's like something foreboding about the bomb or something like that.
Interesting.
And then the red screen fades away and Cloud snaps out of it, and Barrett's like, what are you waiting for? So I think the way they did it here, much more in line with what they're trying to like develop as a B plot versus the original.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah, okay. I will not say more just for the.
I can't, dude. I can't wait, bro. I just want to know. I just want to know. But now, did you pick 20 minutes or 30 minutes?
I picked 20 minutes because I'm not no scrub.
At first, so during my first playthrough, I did 20 because I'm like, yo, I ain't no scrub, and I failed horribly. So when I died and came back, I did 30. And then Barrett called me like a little wimp or something like that or whatever, I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. But the second time, when I played through this morning, I did 20 minutes because I heard or I saw a tweet that there's a little bit of something extra in the demo. Yep. I didn't catch it. I don't know what.
You did because you just mentioned it.
What?
If you do the 20-minute exit, after there's the montage and it says the screen of Final Fantasy VII, it fades to a close-up on Cloud looking at something, and then the reverse shot of it is the long-haired guy.
Oh, that was in the first one? I mean, in the 30-minute? Oh, okay. Well, Kevin's an idiot. Nothing's new. Okay, all right. Huh. I just thought that was in the first and second. Okay, well, there you go. Well, then, of course, you plant the bomb. The Scorpion boss comes on. I don't know if he's called Scorpion. The
Scorpion tank.
Scorpion tank. All right. This one's a baddie, but a goodie. You got to. I like how, as you continue on this fight, and also I got to give it to them. Like it's a nice and long boss battle.
Yeah.
It's not a quick one. Like this, there's stage to this. Like you have to also, what I like as well is like you're given access to spells, and I found that the floating like plant type of enemies, I think they're organic plants. I think those like little like round, red
Yeah, they're
things
like
that have green are
bio robots, kind of.
okay. I know fire was really good with them and stuff like that, but this boss battle like kind of made it more highlighted that using the spells on different aspects of this scorpion will make it easier for you to actually take it down and stuff like that. I like that aspect too. You get to use Barrett's I forgot what's called, lightning
lightning or thunder. I forget what the spell's called, but yeah, the boss I think works well with the spells because there is that line right at the start where Cloud says lightning magic, and then you use lightning magic until he puts the shield up, and then lightning doesn't work, and then you have to swap to Cloud, and to get rid of the shield, use fire magic.
He says a line about fire too. I forgot what he says, but he like that's very clever too. How like they sneak in like, hey, what you got to do right now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's consistent throughout the entire remake, but
It probably will.
I really like that how they like through the quips that the characters were saying, it gives you little like hints and tidbits. I like that.
Yeah, and I don't know if you kept it in mind for later because they introduced one more enemy on the escape, but they're called like shock guards or something.
The shock troopers, I think, or shock guards,
something like that.
Yeah,
but like just attacking them is kind of useless. But if you use fire magic, because the fire magic worked when the scorpion tank had the electric shield up, it works really well on them too. So it's like trying to get in your head of like similar to Pokemon, like you're going through right now, of like
that's
what
I'm saying. Like I was like, oh man,
elements are good against what other elements.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I got to balance. All right, Kevin, don't forget the trilogy of how it works in Pokemon, but also remember this. Like
Yeah,
that was funny. Good stuff. Good stuff. But you get the scorpion fight, very very good. You have a last little bit where you're running out of the reactor. Strangely familiar to the RE2 remake, and I'm assuming Resident Evil 2 back in the day, where you get a time like, all right, escape, and there's a clock. I'm like, all right, yeah, there you go.
in OG7 you only have 10 minutes.
Which I felt both times they gave you way too much time, because I thought when I was first playing it, I thought that as you were fighting the scorpion, the clock was already running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was expecting that too.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, like we're starting now? Okay, like kind of okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but before we leave the scorpion tank, I have a question for you.
You may.
Did you get a chance to use the limit break?
I did.
How awesome is that?
That's hot.
Cross slash?
That is hot. I don't think you could use a Barrett limit. Was there a Barrett limit that you were given access to?
So there is. His limit gauge is in the bottom corner, the same place Cloud's is. By the time Cloud's is accessible, the boss is probably like gonna go down if you use it on it. So like there's probably, if you want to run through it a third time and just like wait it out at the end, you could probably use Barrett's limit break.
I just might, just to see it. Maybe, I don't know. But
and then the way they sort of set up the escape is the bomb goes off because of the debris that's falling from the environment throughout the entire fight, which I love, that it just progressively gets worse and worse because of the tank, not the bomb.
Yeah.
And they play into that at the end of it. But yeah, continue. I just wanted to shout that out.
It's good stuff. We get Jesse, almost dying. Cloud does a really, really cool, like, wait, why am I not remembering that flip in the... Wait, I just realized something. In my first playthrough that's up on the channel, that was when that was also 20 minutes. Yeah, so you saw the part where the big pipe falls in between Jesse and Cloud, and then Cloud does that really cool like jump move. Why am I not forgetting that I just played this morning?
That's odd. I don't know, but
Dude,
that's like one of the last thing. I think you're done playing the game at that point. I think that's the last.
It's just cutscene.
Yeah.
Am I getting brain disruptions like Cloud? What the flip?
Well, you have to pick her up like 3 times.
That's true.
Or twice.
That's true.
And then the pipe falls after the second time you help her up.
Yeah, and then I guess that's the end. Yeah, I mean, unless there's anything major that I forgot in that last bit.
So I think there is, just because you haven't touched on it, but I want to bring it up because it's something that I didn't pick up on in the original game either, but it seems like they're really hammering in right now. So the destruction of the reactor.
Okay.
We see that the Shinra guys, the president and Heidegger, are looking in on the room after it all goes down and they run away. And the bomb goes off, and it's just like a tiny little poof that breaks the valve it was on.
Yeah, that's okay. I know what you're saying now. Yeah.
So, like, the intent of Avalanche here was just to shut down the reactor, you know?
Right.
But Shinra has been, like, just watching the whole thing, and then they, like, self-destruct. Like, they have all their robots in that room just, like, tear that thing to shreds and completely just collapse that reactor.
Yeah, I was confused by that, too. I totally forgot to mention that, yeah.
And then we see like a ground level repercussions in the city. Like we see the highway view of the reactor collapsing and the cars like swerving around.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I know, I don't remember this, but people have been saying in the original, it's like the consequences of it are pinned on Avalanche, but it seems like they're playing it more now as like Shinra is wanting the public to have a bad view of Avalanche.
Right.
So like
right. Like they're making it look a lot worse than what it would have been if they hadn't done anything, you know, and then pinning it on Avalanche.
Yeah, so like all the extra destruction that Shinra is causing is probably going to end up with people dead or like roadways to be shut down, buildings collapsing.
Yeah.
And they have footage, they can pin it on Avalanche.
I wonder if I wonder if, you know, after this whole mission, like where you say that, hey, they go sit down and like have a talk, you know, as a group. I wonder if they know that what bomb they planted could not have done all that damage, you know, or
really
do they just
curious.
assume that they did it, you know?
Yeah, because like I think Barrett is in the elevator when the big explosion happens still. So like he doesn't really react in a way that's like, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be, you know?
Yeah.
So I wonder how they handle that, because I do remember in the original, they're like, man, was that worth it?
Right.
At a certain point. So
okay, I see.
I'm curious to see how they take it.
Huh. Very interesting. And then we get, of course, the little teaser. We get Bad Boy at the end with the long hair. I do have one more thing that it really could be nothing. I just want to throw it out there before we wrap up. The bad guy oddly looked a lot like Cloud in the face. Not sure if it's just, you know, because it was just the aesthetic design of it, but he looked a lot like Cloud. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna, you know. That could actually be nothing. I just wanted to take note of that. You know.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that means, or if it is even anything to have meaning, but that was the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. Overall, you know, of all the demos you've played, Christian, you know, not putting you in the spot, trying to have you rank it, but is this one of the best demos?
Like 200 demos I've ever played.
Yeah, right. Like, do you feel that this demo was serviceable? And it seems like you are high on it, so.
I think it's great because it gives people that have no experience with the game like you reason to be excited about it and reason to see why people love it so much. And I think it gives people hesitant about the project in general that do know the original game. Like, it reassures them like, oh, this is being handled with care and passion, and just like the way they adapt it, the way they flesh it out, it just works really, really well in my opinion. And combat's great, looks beautiful, and the soundtrack.
Oh my god, bro! Oh, we didn't even bring up the music at all. Oh my god, or maybe
amazing,
we did, so good, bro.
It's fantastic. So yes, I love the demo to death. I'm gonna play it a third time, and maybe try to call it there because I'm gonna have to play through that mission again when the game comes out.
Yeah, but
it's
true.
It's great. True. I love it.
I like it a lot. I liked it a lot. It really took me back, not like back in the day, but like it took me aback, I guess how you would say it. that I liked it this much. It honestly, Christian, honestly, I have a very similar like feeling to Final Fantasy 7 Remake as I did with watching like my third episode into My Hero.
Interesting.
Of like, wait a minute, like
Have I been missing out?
I think I've crossed the threshold of like to like I'm getting a little bit like obsessive,
Yeah.
I'm so in. Bro.
I'm glad it clicked with you that well. And I've been saying this for a while. I've said it in both the videos I made about the game on Joy. Like, I feel like 7 Remake is going to be a lot of people's first RPG, JRPG, Final Fantasy game, like the original was. And you liking the demo and hype enough to like make a full show about it is just evidence of that, I think. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely. I just went that demo and I'm like, yo, like what happens after? Like, I know that that's like super cliche, but honestly, like I'm like, dude, I want to know, number one, who's Tifa? Number two, why can't Cloud remember anything? How old is Cloud? Many questions.
And one last thing, I just like, it's so great because this demo, it's the first mission of the game.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, when we're playing it April 10th, it starts here, and it's just a great introduction. I think it's one of the best openings in any game I've played. So,
strong words coming from Christian. But Christian, where can other people hear your other strong words across the internet?
Well, you can hear my strong words on several podcasts or videos via the JoyClicks network, youtube.com/JoyClicks, podcast services. Kevin and I every week do the JoyClicks Gamescast, where we just hang out, talk about games, talk about game news. It's a good time.
Couple of guys being dudes, couple of dudes being guys,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Couple of gamers.
Couple
And like we said at the top of the video, weekly Final Fantasy 7 videos going up from now to launch. So look forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the time that you and I get to talk spoilers about this game once it's all said and done.
Oh man, let me tell you something. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Thank you for having me on. Very excited for the future of this show and Final Fantasy in general. So was very happy to know that you thought of me.
Of course, I had to, of course, and make sure you all, check out JoyClicks. There's a ton of really good Final Fantasy, like really, like I know I'm biased, just because we podcast a lot, and we do all that, but no, there's some really good stuff around 587 on JoyClicks, so definitely go and check that out. But of course, right after you check that out, because yes, I want you to check out that first. Bring it back home. Follow us on Twitter at PSSourceVids, as well as, of course, down below in the description, you can find links to our Discord server as well. If you want to join that, talk about the demo in there, by all means. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you want to listen to this and all of our other long-form content in podcast format, that, of course, being Safe Slot Podcast, as well as Road to Part 2, and for the next month and a half or so, maybe 4 or 5 episodes, we'll have a Road to 587 Remake as well. Both those series leading up to release. So there we are. Like if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest in PlayStation. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.
Greatness awaits.
Yeah, like I almost said pizza time. All right, later, guys.
See ya.